Hey, my man, how you doing?
Oh, no, not tonight, Ray. Spanky's not happy with you.
Oh, is Spanky here?
Do yourself a favor and find another place where they let you in the front door.
Hey, wait, what about that time I bought your girl them alligator shoes, man, huh? What's the problem? Did I come through for you?
Yeah.
Bitch was wearing pigskin when I met her. I got out the swine, she wearing alligator. Let me in, help a nigga out. There you go, that's how it goes, brother. That's how it goes. Thank you, man, I appreciate it.
There's combustion between a comedy called Life starring Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence. You don't have to say too much more. You can really just say their first names and it's a comedy, and people are their imagination's gonna go to a place that's true.
I thought the idea of doing a movie about two guys that went to prison for life, you know, a big prison escape, epic film would be like a good, entertaining movie to do.
We'd done Boomerang, and then then Nutty, and Nutty, you know, kind of worked in every area for us. And he had this idea. It was just a simple word, life, and he sort of pitched it out to me.
It was important that Eddie, Martin, and myself, and Brian, that we really, this film wasn't just a comedy, that was poignant, and it said a lot about, you know, it wasn't preachy or anything like that, but it just had a good story. I mean, the problem with most comedies these days is that there's no stories behind them. You know, they're just kind of a bunch of funny skits put together. You know, I wanted this to be a good story.
Ted Demme was kind of perfect for this movie because he's an actor's director. And this movie needs that because it's a movie because Eddie is so creative and so brilliant, and because Martin is really so talented. I think that, and they're comedians, they need to have a director that's going to let them breathe and let them try things, and is just going to essentially provide the professional architecture, the creative architecture from which they should work, and then let them sort of play around, and then direct it keep it within the architecture.
The one thing about this story that I thought was pretty different was, what would happen if, ostensibly, you, at a very young age, were frozen for a really long time, for like 60 years, and you came out of that period today, in the 90s, how different you'd view life. And then taking it a step further, like, what would happen if you got put somewhere behind bars or any type of captivity, and your life didn't change for 60 years at all, but everything around you did. I thought that was kind of a unique place to start, and that's kind of where we started with Life.
This movie, and I hate using this, it sounds so cliche, but it really is a movie about the triumph of the human spirit, you know, how these two people can't be beat by this situation, you know, and how fate brought them together, you know, and reluctantly they wind up being the most important people in each other's life, you know. It's like a real offbeat buddy movie, you know, because it's fate brought them together, you know.
Don't I know you?
I don't think so.
Yes, I do. I know you. What is your name?
Claude Banks.
Claude Banks! Claude Banks! Hey, Miss Me! Ray Gibson! We went to high school together. How you doing, man?
You went to Monroe?
Monroe, yes, definitely. How you doing, man? Look at you looking all sharp. Make me feel good to see colored folks doing good for themselves.
Yeah, well, I went to Jefferson. So you must have a different Claude Banks in mind. Excuse me.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. My mistake.
I've always been, for a very long time, an enormously big Eddie Murphy fan. I think he's probably one of the most talented guys of my generation. We're not too far off in age. He's much older than I am. And yeah, I think that he's probably one of the funniest guys that's ever walked. And I'm a huge fan of Martin's. I've actually been familiar with Martin for a really long time. And I think that they're both amazing. And I thought, boy, it'd be really great to put them together and give them roles that were different than the ones they played in the past. It was very important to Martin and Eddie that they expanded themselves as actors in this movie.
When I heard about Life, well, the first attraction was to who it was starring, which was Eddie Murphy, and be able to work, alongside of him was, that's a dream come true, to be in that position.
Throughout the course of development, there were different actors that were being considered for roles and stuff. And Martin, it always went back to Martin. Martin was the first choice, and then he went off and he was doing other films, and then other people got popular, and then, it always came back to Martin. The original character of Claude was written for Martin.
Claude realizes somewhere, by him being this uptight guy, I think he realizes if you're put in a situation that's beyond your control, you have to try to make the best of it, you know. And you can sit and you can complain and do all those things, but you know, the key to life is called survival.
I think what people like about Martin is they like to see Martin fight, you know. And what's cool about it is Martin doesn't always win, but audiences like to see him fight and go for his. And that's what this movie is about. Is about not giving up and fighting for yours. And he's the perfect person for it, you know.
The fact that, you know, here's two guys that you know, that are hit with life for something that they didn't do, you know, and how they have through a long period of time through their life, they have to, you know, try to overcome the odds that are against them.
My character's supposed to be a street guy, so that was, you know, the pairing, you know, two guys who would be have different types of personalities, you know. So he's like the straight, it's almost like, you know, the odd couple.
You know what, Ray? You're responsible for this whole situation. Yeah, I blame you for everything, Ray, okay? If it wasn't for you, man, I'd be home right now about to have a hot meal.
If it wasn't for me, your black ass would be floating up on a beach of Coney Island right now. You forgot all that shit. All I need on my fingers and thumbs for adding, and you remember that shit?
Ray.
I saved your life, nigga.
They think we killed somebody, Ray. This is blood, okay?
Listen, just sit your ass down. Let me work some shit out with this.
I got a job that starts
Well,
Monday,
you
Ray.
gonna be late Monday, because I got to work this shit out with this old family.
We sat down with the director and the writers, you know, and you know, developed the characters and everything, you know. But a lot of it, you know, was happening while we were on set, you know what I mean. And as we sat there and we talked about the scene and the script, and you know, Eddie's a master at improvisation and all that stuff, and you know, we just we were able to define things, you know, sometime right there on set.
Martin's very, you know, vibrant, full of life person as a human being. So I had to really, together we both said, look, let's bring this in and let's really define who Claude is and make him a little more uptight to play against Eddie's outwardness. And we always kind of use Felix and Oscar as a little correlation, because I didn't want them to be both the same guy. I wanted them to be able to play off each other, and Claude's really the straight man in this movie, and Martin's never really played that. It's really exciting to see him do that, and do it so well.
Even though we're comedians, you know, the idea about two guys going to jail, you know, unjustly for their life, that's not a funny story, you know. So it's bittersweet kind of thing that goes on, because funny things are happening, but it's really not funny, you know.
There's a lot of humorous things that happen along the way, but it's a lot of serious things, and you know, the camaraderie that these guys have to have with each other in order to survive.
Together as a comedy team, they're actually phenomenal, because they're not fighting for laughs, they're not fighting for the line, they're not fighting for the attention. They both are really respectful of each other, respectful of the movie and the parts, and they're really trying to do different things.
The movie has more poignancy than in the usual Eddie Murphy or Martin Lawrence movie. It's a more developed story than in the usual movie, you know. It's a richer production, and not as predictable, you know.
Eddie plays, you get to see a brashness about him. Now, you've seen this brashness in, you know, some of the modern movies that he's made that have had great success. But the way it's reconstructed into this character that he plays now is really fun.
Eddie's kind of, you know, used to being a very kind of slick, handsome, you know, hero that has all the problems, you know, solved right at the end of his fingertips and all that kind of stuff, and he always saves the day, and it works for him. But he didn't want to do that in this movie. He wanted to have a flawed character that was kind of a hustler, but a real hustler that was kind of not a loser, but just really was real. He got himself in trouble. The more he tried to hustle, the more he gets in trouble.
Yeah, I usually play these fast-talking guys that can, you know, get themselves out of any situation in films, you know. This guy, you know, he's fast-talking, and things just keep getting worse and worse and worse, you know. I never played anybody who would run instead of fight, you know. And it's kind of fun to play him.